pleased to be here, and good evening or late afternoon to everyone who's kind of joined. So today, I'm just going to run through kind of the relationship really between kind of Apple Search Ads and ASO, and how particularly Auto Trader has kind of leveraged both of those kind of platform solutions to kind of maximize both our visibility and conversion across the App Store. So just going to jump in very briefly. I know for many in the UK, you'll know kind of Auto Trader, hopefully, but perhaps for those who are based outside of the UK, Auto Trader is perhaps not a familiar name to many. So historically, Auto Trader was actually launched back in the early 80s and was actually a print classified kind of magazine where we were selling over 1 million physical copies a week to help people who were looking to buy and sell a car. And in 2007, we transitioned into kind of a website. And then around 2010, we kind of launched our first mobile app, which was kind of one web developer who showed a bit of an interest in kind of the app world. So we've been on a bit of a journey from there. And today, over 60% of all car ads are viewed on our mobile app. And we have around 500,000 kind of visitors every day. And on average, about 400,000 vehicles available to search for at any one time. So it's really kind of developed quite a lot since that early version in 2010. So the thing that always fascinates me is just the diversity of cars and vehicles that you get on the platform. And I think a question that I always pose, and I haven't got a poll in here, so you just have to pick one silently, but it's always kind of the diverse range of kind of cars that are available on site. And here's just a couple of examples as to which one was kind of most viewed last week. And for those that are thinking the Bugatti Chiron, you're absolutely correct. We do tend to get a lot of kind of dreamers of cars that come on site, and that was the one that was most viewed. But very interestingly, £495 smart car was actually third most viewed last week. So it's always incredible that just the diverse range of kind of cars that you get on site at any one time is huge. So just moving on, I'm just going to talk through, obviously, what I'm going to look through today. I'm going to cover off a few different areas, and just very, very briefly, because I know that hopefully pretty much everyone on the call does know what kind of ASO and Apple Search Ads are. But obviously, for anyone who doesn't, I'll just cover that off. The synergies and limitations between the two, some best practice in terms of things that we've seen at Auto Trader, custom product pages, and then I'm just going to talk around finally the new multi-placement ad strategy that is relatively new for a few of us. So firstly, just cover off the basics. Not going to spend too much time on this, but obviously for anyone who's not familiar, App Store optimization is very much the continuing process of improving your App Store listings page. And obviously you can use kind of keywords, screenshots, lots of different mechanics to obviously optimize that page. And ultimately, it's about attracting and converting the right users onto your page. And then moving swiftly on, Apple Search Ads, the most prominently kind of available kind of user acquisition channel for iOS apps. And this is really used to kind of help boost your app visibility across the App Store. And you're matching, obviously, customers to, the right keywords, and looking to, obviously, you're running kind of search result campaigns to appear at the top of those results. And particularly now, the ability to kind of leverage those additional ad placements to kind of increase the visibility of your app on those, across those kind of keywords and across the site in general. So, right, what are the synergies between ASO and Apple Search Ads? And this is kind of obviously the key point that my talk is going to focus on today. ASO and Apple Search Ads work absolutely brilliantly together. Apple Search Ads can enhance ASO by improving keyword rankings through targeted bidding, and with the help of Apple Search Ads, it is possible to gather feedback on the performance of keywords to enhance your ASO strategy. The benefits of bringing these two together are boosted visibility of your app, higher conversion rates, and more efficient marketing spend as you strategically align behind those chosen keywords. So just moving on. I'm just going to skip over this one. In terms of kind of the limitations of ASO. So again, for many of us that have obviously used ASO for a long time, you know, everyone knows that it is an essential component of any kind of app strategy, but there are clearly limitations as to how much performance can be achieved on its own. ASO results take time to measure, where Apple search ads can provide immediate results. And assuming you're not running any kind of A/B tests or custom product pages as yet, or, and I'll come on to more of those later, store listings are quite static and always the same and not always tailored to the search requests of any given user. And then finally, tracking and analyzing the performance of organic keywords, especially on lower funnel in-app events, is extremely challenging and difficult to kind of undertake. So how can we bridge the gap here? What are which possibilities do we have? And clearly, the solution that obviously I'm going to talk about today is Apple Search Ads. And I just want to share a handful of examples around how AutoTrader has leveraged both the platform capabilities and new features of Apple Search Ads to maximize and boost our ASO ranking. So I'm just going to cover off a few things, going to talk around keyword mining, automation, which I saw kind of Ben covered off in the previous one, brand protection, and then custom product pages and the new multi-placement opportunities. So AutoTrader has been using Apple Search Ads as an ad partner for several years, and it remains our biggest paid source of iOS app downloads. Around 55% of downloads on iOS come through that particular user acquisition channel. And adding SplitMetrics into the mix around 2023, early part of 2023, has significantly elevated the performance of our overall campaigns. Our downloads have jumped 15%. Our tap-through rate has jumped a massive 50%. And the combined impact has driven our cost per download down by around 25%. So today, just going to follow up in terms of some of the best practices that we've done that have helped us deliver these kind of amazing results. So firstly, so that relationship between ASO and Apple Search Ads can't be undervalued. One of the areas where you can absolutely leverage the strengths of each side to help boost the performance of one another is through keyword mining. By using competitive intelligence tools across both App Store optimization and search ads, along with recommendations from Apple. You might even be running a discovery campaign across Apple Search Ads as well. You can build out a source of fresh keywords to test within your search ads campaign. And then you can then assess the relevance of these keywords by looking at the tap-through rate and conversion rate to really identify any hidden gems. And then in turn, these can be piped back into kind of your ASO kind of metadata to kind of test the organic impact of those keywords organically. So one of the biggest drivers for us to use SplitMetrics was the ability to enrich Apple Search Ads data with insight from our MMP. We use Branch, but other MMPs will also kind of work with SplitMetrics. And I think crucially for us, bringing these two powerful tools together allowed us to get a much deeper understanding on the performance of any given campaign, ad group, or keyword. And crucially, being able to make decisions on downstream events allowed us to optimize more efficiently on those campaigns beyond simply installs. And the simple reality for me is that I'm kind of one person managing an Apple Search Ad campaign for thousands of keywords. So time on platform is really limited and decision making was quite often kind of snapshot. So being able to build out automation rules using conversion-based events, in our case, we use things like ad views or leads, has dramatically changed and increased the frequency of changes that we can make. So now we've got campaigns that allow us to kind of pause non-performing keywords, increase cost per tap on new opportunities, or identify kind of changes in share of voice. So it really has been, a significant pair of helping hands. Just going to talk quickly about kind of maybe a little bit of a controversial subject that I know some people may feel a little bit unnecessary, but AutoTrader chooses to run a brand defense campaign across our Apple Search Ads. Now, some people say we'll feel like this potentially is a cannibalization of organic installs. But for us, I just wanted to share the reasons why we feel there's value in doing this. So firstly, the Auto Trader brand is an incredibly powerful keyword for our app with an audience volume and demographic that has broad appeal. Two, we absolutely continue to kind of run cannibalization kind of numbers. And at this stage, we've identified that it's 28% cheaper to protect a branded install versus steal a competitor's term. And then thirdly, there are times when the threats to our brand are absolutely weaker. So we've been using the SplitMetrics kind of share of voice metrics and the Apple Search Ads data as well to assess who is targeting our brand. And we adjust our level of defense depending on who is targeting us at a given time. And then finally, now the ability to use kind of custom product pages has allowed us to kind of actually tailor what we're talking to existing users versus how we approach kind of new users as well. So that's a great new opportunity that has now been afforded to us through custom product pages. And that is absolutely what I'm going to go on and talk about next. So hopefully, again, through the conversation today, custom product pages will be a little bit more familiar to people. But I'd just like to share our early experiences of how we've used kind of custom product pages and why we feel it's a really important development for us going forward. Now, I think, again, for many of you here who do know Auto Trader, you'll probably simply view us as a marketplace to view kind of used cars. But the reality is that we have new cars, we have electric cars, we have bikes, we have vans, motorhomes. You can buy a car, sell a car, lease, you can even value your car. And honestly, I could go on and on. So the simple fact is that trying to communicate all of these amazing features to prospective app users across 10 screenshots, let alone obviously the two or three that most people kind of really take note of, is just very, very challenging. And now having the ability to target keyword clusters with dedicated landing page content gives us a much better chance to optimize for each and every journey. So just going to quickly share one example. Say we're now starting to churn out a few more of these, but one early example that we ran was around targeting those keywords associated to car selling, and it enabled us to communicate more clearly the scale, or ease of selling your car through Auto Trader. And again, it's a very simple change creatively to those screenshots, but the tap through rate lift that we saw was 12%. It's translated into a better conversion rate as well, up 1%. And then overall, that's driven more downloads. And as a result, our cost per download has come down 20%. So it just shows that by targeting, obviously, the relevance of those car selling terms with a slightly different creative has really kind of allowed us to kind of boost the performance of our Apple Search Ads campaigns. And then that translates obviously organically as well. Right. So lastly, just want to pick up on the exciting opportunities that exist around the ad placement options that Apple Search Ads now offer. At Auto Trader, we've been using, the search results ad format very successfully to target those users who are very specifically looking for an app related to their particular search term. However, the challenge of this is that obviously there's limitations to the amount of scale that you can generate. There's just only so many relevant keywords we can bid on to hit our KPIs. So for Auto Trader, this is where utilizing different ad placements has helped us to overcome scalability limits, enabling Auto Trader to reach a larger App Store audience, increasing both downloads, but also brand awareness as we enable more people to see and learn about our app. Just going to share some early results that we had earlier on in the year. So we've had particular success with the new search tab format, where we're placing an ad at the point of where a user has clicked on search. Official Apple data, indicates that more than 70% of App Store visitors use search to discover apps. So it's a great opportunity to expose the Auto Trader app to a large number of users across the App Store. Of course, doesn't mean they're all intent on downloading Auto Trader, but the cost per tap model has given us the confidence to try this placement. When we ran this earlier on in the year, we've seen a 3x jump in the number of overall store impressions. So very much something that we couldn't have achieved through the search result ads alone. As a result, we've seen an 18% reduction in the cost per lead across our overall Apple search ads. And lastly, we've seen a really interesting kind of spike in branded visibility on the keywords that we use there. So again, that's positively impacted both ASO and Apple search ads. So overall, it's really clear that Apple search ads can have a direct impact on the performance of your ASO activity. And then just to kind of summarize with the kind of the three key takeaways, very clear that Apple search ads can have a positive impact on your ASO strategy. Secondly, multi-placement ad strategy can boost your app's visibility and performance on the App Store. And then finally, really encourage you to try using ad variations using custom product pages. They're incredibly helpful for highlighting versatile features of your app and for targeting kind of new segments, which may otherwise be a little bit difficult to communicate to through your standard kind of App Store page. So thank you very much. That's kind of it. I did see there's a few, maybe some questions come in. I'm not too sure, Lena. I haven't.
Yeah, Paul. Yeah, thank you. Let me pick it for you. How should marketers approach keyword selection when integrating ASA and ASO efforts? Should the same keywords be targeted in both, or is there a benefit to diversifying?
Yeah. So I think certainly to kick off with, I think it's a great starting point to kind of just bring in your App Store optimization kind of metadata into your ASA kind of platform. I think it's probably just quickly gets you up and running. But then the great benefit of the Apple Search Ads platform is you get that additional layer of data, tap through rate, conversion rate, obviously cost per install. And if you plug in the likes of SplitMetrics, obviously you can then start to get down funnel events, in our case, ad views and leads. So none of that data is really available to you from an ASO only perspective. So I think at least when you then start to see that, you'll see which particular keywords are most relevant and converting for you. And then obviously, if you do have some non-performing keywords, you can swap those out with other keywords that, again, some of the Apple Search Ad platform recommendations, or if you run a discovery campaign, and you can start to obviously, pause non-performing, bring in new ones. And I think that's how I kind of recommend kind of getting started.